Thank you, Nancy. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I'll humbly attempt to explain how we navigate between digital innovation and the rural complexities of our daily tasks. And also talk about how AI could be an exciting opportunity to give us a competitive advantage as an African SME. So coming back to traceability, maybe just a few words at least on what is traceability. Traceability is about knowing every step in your supply chain. And it's about when you see everything, you hold actors accountable, and then you collect data to make decisions. And when disruption occurs, and trust me, disruptions occur all the time, you're able to make decisions based on evidence and not guesses. That's what traceability is about, and it's at the core of how we do business, how we integrate the supply chain in the cashew space. Now, I'll give you a live example. Last year, we raised money from a private equity investor in London, and one of the questions that came about during due diligence was, how exposed are you to deforestation? So thanks to the data we had gathered and analyzed through our SAP Rural Sourcing Management, within a matter of half an afternoon, we managed to prove to them that only 2% of our supply chain was actually exposed to deforestation. I would also like to talk about, we always talk about farm-to-fork traceability, but it's also important to talk about fork-to-farm traceability, which is actually the money flow. And I think Moustapha talked about digital money. And I'll share with you a real-life example of how we do it. So some of you may know that actually all of the cashew that actually traded in Côte d'Ivoire or in Africa, for that matter, is done by way of cash, so hard cash. I'm just out of the harvest right now, so harvest just finished, and I've dispersed 12 million euros in cash in the bush. Absolute nightmare. So my battle, starting this business from 5 years ago, was to actually get our farmers to accept digital money, right? Because we see the images from East Africa, M-Pesa, Maasai farmers basically buying their groceries with digital money, and we get all excited. But my reality is quite different. Our Ivorian farmers are actually very reticent to accept digital money because they can't believe how a little tiny Nokia phone would hold all their cash, which is actually their only cash crop for the year. So what we did was two things. So work on adoption and worked on the connectivity issues. And remember, we're a tiny, small SME, right? And in the long run, we're all dead. So our reality is about resolving issues now. So what we did is the first thing we did is we were very astute because we have a program of school loans for our farmers. So we disburse typically school loans to our farmers for them to be able to send their kids to school around September time. So what we decided to do was to say, okay, from now on, all the loans we disperse will be digital. Because in that instance, they are asking for money. So it's easy to convince them to accept. And as they started accepting the school loans by way of digital money, they started experiencing it, right? And they started trusting it. And on the other hand, there is connectivity, right? And so my team today actually knows under which mango tree there is Orange or MTN reception in the 215 villages we work with. So, you know, it's about being obsessive about it, right? It's bridging the gap between digital innovation and rural complexity is actually being obsessive about how to bridge it. And I think it's too easy to just give up, and it's about having that grit to keep going.